to start taping and let me know when it's recording and I'll ask you?
Okay. I just hit record.
Okay, cool. So I want to kill these people. What is your story? In other words, how did you fall down the rabbit hole of needing to transform yourself physically, emotionally, so you can either go on one or both?
Okay. Well, I'll give you a brief background of where I first started. Was getting into fitness was after having my twins. I'd been put on bed rest with them and gained about 60 pounds with that pregnancy. And then it wasn't until they were almost 2 years old that I finally decided I needed to do something about the extra weight that I gained with them. And I didn't want to have to go to the gym because I didn't have, childcare at home. And I did some running, but pushing a double stroller was kind of a nightmare. So I went to at-home fitness videos, and I tried Insanity and lasted like a week. It was horrible, and I wanted to die. And then I actually started with Jillian Michaels first. Sorry, Beachbody.
Yeah.
And and that was really great. She was really good for like what I needed, and I could just go out to my garage and get my workout done. And I actually I realized I would need support and accountability for this because I would just start and stop so many times on my own. So I actually got together like a whole big group of other twin moms to do this with me. So I basically formed what is now a challenge group on my own without even knowing, that such a thing existed with Beachbody. I just knew I needed support and accountability. And so a bunch of us twin moms made our own Facebook group, and we would work out and share recipes and keep each other accountable. And that was super helpful. But I always felt like I could never get a grasp on my nutrition. I could never find something that worked for me. I tried counting calories, and it drove me absolutely insane because I like to eat a big variety of foods. I rarely eat the same thing twice. And so having to measure and weigh, and it was just a nightmare. So I would be really good, and then I'd be horrible, and I'd be really good, and I'd be horrible. And then I went through a holiday period of being really horrible for 3 months. And hitting January 1st, like so many other people do, and being like, oh my gosh, I have to do something. And so I ordered the Ultimate Reset. And I'd done cleanses before and never really found one that I really liked because most of them just made me super hungry, to be honest. And I would gain the weight right back. But I got the Ultimate Reset, and I committed to doing it for 21 days. And I followed it exactly. I lost 10 pounds, and I was just super, super impressed with the quality of the product and the program. I just was blown away by it. And my results, I lost 10 pounds, and I felt amazing. And then I was talking to a friend of mine who at the same point had joined a free clean eating group through Facebook, through Jessica actually, which is totally random because I live in Canby where Jessica lives, and my friend Katie is in Wyoming. But she found Jessie online on Facebook and started to talk to me about coaching. And so at first I thought oh, it's a total pyramid scheme. No, thank you. Ew, gross, multi-level marketing. No. And also my mom had done Herbalife at one point in my life. And I remember her driving around and putting up flyers and sticking little handout things in people's windshield wipers. And it just always felt really desperate and it just didn't feel good to me. So I had a really negative connotation with that kind of thing. And I was absolutely not. I want nothing to do with it. But my friend Katie we talked every week anyways, because we're good friends. And she kept talking to Jessie. And so she kept bringing it up to me. And so finally I was okay, I guess I'll take a look, And I started researching online and going to YouTube and watching videos. And I even had my husband, who's super skeptical about everything, do his own research, and we were both like, wow, this might actually be legit, you know? And it sort of coincided with the fact that we were majorly in debt. Like, we were behind on our mortgage. My husband had tried to have his own business, and it totally went south. By no fault of his own, honestly. Like, there was a huge market change. And anyways, so we were in a ton of debt, and we had a ton of just stress. And I sort of got to this point in my life where I was like, I had totally lost hope for the future. And I felt like where we were in our life, we were so in debt. I was working part-time, but didn't want to work anymore to bring in more income because I didn't want to leave my children. You know, I didn't become a mom to just be gone all the time. And, you know, my husband was working at a job that he loved. He went back to work. He loved his job, but he doesn't make a lot of money. And so we were sort of stuck. And I just felt like I saw our future as the same thing. Like, I just felt like we were just going to be living paycheck to paycheck forever. We were just going to be paying all of our money to debt forever. We're going to be in the same small house. And I wanted to be happy and grateful because I had two beautiful children, and I love them and I adore them, and I have an amazing husband and I love him, and I wanted to be grateful and to let that be enough, but it just wasn't enough. I just wanted something more. And as a little girl, I'd always had these great big dreams about what my life was going to be like. And I realized I had totally stopped dreaming because I felt like there was no way to make that happen. And I just felt stuck. And then, honestly, I had one call with my upline, Jessica, and she asked me, you know, what my dream is, what my purpose is, and sort of all that, what I just told you, just came out. And she was like, whatever you want to make happen, you can do with this business. And I was like, all right, I'm in, you know, and that was enough. Like, hearing what she had done, where she had gone, and that if I wanted it bad enough, I can make it happen for myself. Like, for me to get back that power of me being able to make it happen was everything. It was like somebody handing me my future and saying, you can have it. When up until that point, I felt like it was just a closed door because I didn't see any way out or around or over. And I'm a very, I can do whatever I've set my mind to type of person. And so it was like, if this is I just thought, if this is only dependent on me, then like, hell yeah, bring it on. Like, I'm in. And so that's how I got started.
So would you say that there's like a theme to your story? Have you been repressing your passion? Have you experienced lots of ill health or disease? Have you struggled physically, emotionally, financially? Have your relationships failed because of what you've been going through?
Let's see. It's a lot of questions all at once.
Yeah. So I guess, you know, is there a theme to your story?
I'd say my theme really is finding your purpose and then having your purpose fuel your life, fuel your journey. Because I feel like now that I, as a mom, found this way to have this sense of purpose, this sense of direction, and this sense of being able to accomplish something and to truly create the future that I want for myself. It's like, now I want to help other people have that as well in their life and not feel stuck and hopeless. And like, this is all there is. And they have to just suck it up and be happy with it.
Right. And be like a beacon of hope.
Right. Exactly. Just to show that, like, yes, there is another way to do this. Life is about more than 9 to 5.
And then what are your identification factors? In other words, what challenges and breakthroughs do you want to help your leads or coaches focus on and overcome within themselves?
I think for me, honestly, like, I've always had from a young age, I've always had a very strong self-confidence in my own abilities to do and to accomplish anything that I set my mind to. And I really attribute that to my parents. But it's a quality that I see lacking in a lot of people. And I feel like if I could just get them to feel that same confidence, that same inner strength, that there's nothing that they couldn't do. So that's something that I would really like to help my coaches and my team accomplish, to be able to really trust that they are capable of more than they ever imagined.
Let's see here. What are you most passionate about health and fitness? And was it always important to you?
So health and fitness was not always important to me. I was not the type of girl who worked out ever. I never played sports growing up. I rode horses, and that was sort of my life and my world. My parents, I guess I shouldn't say health wasn't important, because my parents are very, very into healthy, clean living. My mom's a naturopathic doctor, and they're sort of like the original hippies, like they were the type who like reuse, reduce, recycle, right, before it was cool. And my dad would make us use these like old army containers for our water before there was like all the algae or all the like metal bottles, because they were like plastic is the devil. And so I grew up eating very, very well and very healthy. Even though as a child, I was like, oh, I just want the Doritos and the, drive-through. And it really took me going to college and eating all that crap myself, and then becoming a parent, to truly understand and appreciate what they had done for me. And I've really done a complete 180, being like, okay, you guys were absolutely right. And I'm totally on board, because I see how much what you eat affects how you are, how you feel, how you carry yourself, your energy, and which affects your whole life. So as far as fitness, I didn't really get into fitness until I needed to lose the weight. I had, for like a few months right before I got pregnant, actually gotten into this big exercise kick, and I was training to run the Portland Marathon, and I did this whole like weight loss challenge at my gym, and I actually lost, I think, like 20 pounds, and I got in really good shape, and then I got pregnant with my twins. Yeah. So fitness hasn't really been a big part of my life as it has now. And why it's important to me now is I see how much working out affects my whole life, like the strength that I get from it, the confidence that I get from it, the energy, the sense of accomplishment of like, holy hell, I just did 10 push-ups or whatever, I survived for 30 minutes. Like that transforms you as a person, and that carries throughout your whole life. So when we do say that these programs change your life, it's not in some like foo-foo, like we're trying to sell you shit kind of way, like they truly do change your life, because when you feel good and you feel confident in yourself and you have more energy and more strength, that completely affects the kind of wife you are, the kind of mother you are, the kind of friend you are, and how you affect people around you.
I couldn't agree more. What is your why for becoming a Beachbody coach and helping other people?
So my why has sort of mutated and changed as I've grown over the past 2 years. When I first came into this, I thought it was solely to help for the money. I'll be straight up. Like I wasn't the Melanie Mitchell type who was like, I just want to help people, like I do want to help people, but I wanted to earn an income from home, and I was very serious about that. But as I've grown, I realized how important it is to me to, one, provide the type of childhood for my children that I didn't have. Growing up, finances were always a struggle in our house. But I always felt like there was this strange sort of break, because on the one hand, my parents would always say, like, money doesn't matter, it's not important, family is so much more important. But then I would see them argue about it all the time, and it was a huge source of stress in our household. So, and I saw them having to say no to a lot of things because we couldn't afford it. And so I guess it was kind of strange growing up having that sort of like money's not important, but then we fight about it all the time. And I don't want to have that for my children, and I don't want to have to constantly say no to them all the time. And my why is, I want to be there for my children. I want to be able to, I don't want their experiences to be limited because of my finances.
Right, exactly. You don't want them to feel without. And then describe the opportunities that being a Beachbody coach has produced in your life that you never would have had a chance to do otherwise.
Oh my gosh, there's so many. Well, of course, first and foremost is the cruise. Like, we went on the cruise to Jamaica and Bahamas last month or in March. We had never taken a family vacation like that, ever. Like, the only time we ever traveled was to go visit family. Like, it wasn't ever a vacation. So being able to do that, even though we were sick the whole time, was amazing. And knowing that, like, every year we get to go take this incredible vacation is incredible. And getting to go to all these events where I am hearing from such empowering, inspiring people, that's something that would never have ever happened. Discovering personal development, like being exposed to that is huge. I mean, my husband has noticed a huge difference in me, just the type of person I am, like my confidence, my ability to just speak my mind. I had a really hard time speaking my mind before becoming a coach. So that's something that's really helped me. Going to freaking leadership events, like I never, ever pictured myself as a leader, ever, so it's very surreal to go to these type of events and be like, wow, I am now, so having this opportunity to always grow as a person and not feel stuck, and to have something to grow to have this purpose of where you are going, like that's just completely changed my whole life.
That's awesome. And then let's see here, what else? Describe your ideal team member and what does their Beachbody journey look like, and what is it that you're doing to help them with?
So my ideal team member would be another mom like me who has young children at home and wants to be able to stay home with them, and somebody who is self-motivated and driven as I am, somebody who's able to see a big picture and is willing to hang in it with me for the long haul, who will invest in personal development. Let's see how I can help them. I feel like is really helping them to see the bigger picture, to truly believe in it. I think because one reason I went all in so quickly is I really believed in this opportunity because of my coach and her sharing. And so helping them believe in it and not just believe that it's possible, but believe that it's possible for them, which goes back to the self-confidence thing. Mm-hmm. So really helping them see that vision and that it's possible for themselves, and connecting what they want in their life with this opportunity. So being able to see how doing this can get them there.
And then how do you feel equipped to help your new team members reach their goals?
Sorry. I feel equipped because I've been through it. I've been through the ups and the downs and the highs and the lows of coaching, and I'm still here kicking, and my team is growing, and I feel like I am so invested in this that I can help them be invested as well. Is that a good answer? I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds great. And then what obstacles did you have to overcome?
Let's see. Time was a huge one because was working 2 part-time jobs in addition to being a mom. So finding the time to do this, I had to sacrifice a lot a lot to do this. I pretty much never have any free time anymore. Figuring out how to still honor my husband and my relationship through this was definitely been a struggle too. I have a sort of tendency to always assume that people will still be there, even if I'm not paying them attention. So we had to work through a lot of stuff there personally as a couple. Let's see. My family hasn't really been supportive of it, which has been tough. I mean, none of them ever ask me about it or how it's doing, and especially for my mom, I typically only get negativity about this, even though apparently she'll tell other people that she's super proud of me and thinks it's going to be great and I'm going to do great, but then she's always sort of putting it down and giving me negative feedback on my Facebook posts, which is tough. I've had to face a lot about myself that can be hard, such as things that have happened in my childhood that come up for me quite a bit.
Hi, sorry. My phone got too hot, so I'm going to turn the air.
You have to what?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. What was that?
My phone got too hot. I said my phone got too hot, so it turned itself off. So I'm huddling in the corner and turning on the air conditioning.
Oh my gosh.
Let's see here. When was the first moment when someone gave you a compliment or acknowledged your transformation?
I don't remember.
Well, I guess a better one might be what accomplishments. Why don't we do this one and then we can switch because it's the last one.
Okay.
What accomplishments have given you a sigh of major relief?
Really, honestly, being able to generate enough income so we weren't living paycheck to paycheck anymore. Like, that's been the biggest relief. Being able to have enough that when my daughters want to do things like take writing lessons or, start music lessons or little extras, like being able to afford the little extras without freaking out about it has been a huge sigh of relief. Like, huge. And just recently being able to quit working for my mom and being able to know that I can do this full time is a huge relief. Huge, huge relief.
That's awesome. I mean, I think that's...
You're breaking up or you're frozen. Hello?
Hi. Technical
Hi.
difficulties. Sorry.
That's okay.
Hilarious.
Okay.
Awesome. So
You want to switch to you now?
Sure.
Okay. Don't mind me if I eat while I'm doing it because I'm so
Okay. Okay. All right. First question.
ready.
I'm ready.
Okay. Oh, all of a sudden you're like clear and I can see you and hear you.
I know. I've got a whole tech situation going on in here.
That's awesome. All right. What is it? What's your story?
What is my story? Well, I came to Beachbody kind of for two reasons. So actually, I came to it like many years ago. So I grew up as a chubby kid, and my dad wasn't really that attentive, and my mom worked a lot, and so there was really no one around to like teach me proper nutrition or feed me, and I was really left to my own devices. And I didn't really love to eat meat. I still don't really love to eat meat now. So I was like, well, pizza, pasta, and bagels sounds amazing. Like, I love it. So that was pretty much what I grew up on. I grew up on bagels for breakfast, pizza for lunch, and pasta for dinner. And, my family wasn't really around. We lived in a not as good neighborhood. So like once I came home from school, I was just like alone by myself doing my homework, and I didn't really have a lot of friends. So I didn't have a lot of people helping me, nurturing me with like good nutrition. So I was a chubby kid, and, I wasn't into sports just naturally. I had low self-confidence from being a chubby kid. And then, we'd get out of school at 3 and then sports would be later. And my dad was not willing to pick us up twice, like pick my brother up at 3 and then pick me up later. So that wasn't really on the table for me. And I just, was kind of clumsy and not athletic. So, between not eating right and not having any sports or exercise, I just got really chubby as a kid, and that was really hard. Definitely, caused me to be very shy and withdrawn and just have like a lot of self-doubt. And, I grew up in LA and I grew up in entertainment. My dad's a filmmaker. My mom works for the studios and does events. And so I grew up going to all of these Hollywood functions and seeing the beautiful people and seeing, all these actresses that looked perfect and had their hair and makeup done and they had the perfect body and, had access to all these magazines and seeing all these beautiful people. And so I just had this like vision lodged in my brain of what you're supposed to look like, what your body's supposed to look like, physically what you're supposed to look like, and just sort of adopted this sense of what perfection was. And, growing up in LA, I had access to like, what is the hottest trend of whatever fad diet was. So like I read, French Women Don't Get Fat, Atkins, paleo, vegan, master cleanse, like you name it, whatever the trend was, like cabbage soup diet, whatever it was, like I immediately read up on it and tried it. And so I was constantly, trying to lose this weight through these fad diets because I didn't really understand proper nutrition. So I would like do a diet and like maybe lose a little bit of weight, but then, it wasn't sustaining. So then I feel bad. And then I'd like self-sabotage because I felt bad about myself, and I eat bad and I gain weight. And it was just like this never ending cycle. And when I was in high school, I actually had a friend who joined Weight Watchers, and I kind of turned to her and was like, I need help. And I joined Weight Watchers, and, we'd go to the meetings together. And so it was my first clue into like support. I learned about nutrition. I learned about proper portion control sizes and all that stuff. And it was great. But the problem was it was like once a week. So you're on your own the whole week, and then you've got one meeting. And if you miss the meeting for whatever reason, you're on your own. So, just that little bit of support was really helpful, but it wasn't enough for me to really make a substantial change. And I had all this mindset crap from being a chubby kid of just not believing. And like, I've been doing a lot of personal work, and I realized that I struggle with believing that I can succeed, because I grew up with my dad having these pie in the sky dreams about becoming a filmmaker, and he worked so hard, and no matter what he did, it just didn't happen for him. So I have this deep sense of belief or lack of belief that no matter how hard I try or work at anything, it's not going to happen anyway. And I notice even to this day, I have a very negative thought pattern that goes on in my head that I'm like, it's not going to happen. It's not going to work out. People aren't doing things right. Like, it's just not going to happen. And no matter how much personal development, I still notice it's there to some degree. And it's challenging because, you know, what you put out is what you attract. So, you know, I had that sort of in the background. And so growing up, you know, I went to college, ate tons of pizza, drank tons of beer. So I gained weight. And then, you know, I never worked out, and I graduated. I'm like, I got to figure this out. So I hired a trainer. It was like $25 an hour, which was like so expensive for me. But I'm like, I need someone to kick my ass and like make me learn what I'm doing. So I had a trainer for a little while. And then I think it got too expensive. And then I actually ended up ordering some Beachbody DVDs. I was like on the computer one night, like, you know, in some tizzy about how I felt fat and I wasn't losing any weight. And I like got online and Beachbody came up. And this was like before they were network marketing. They had like Power 90 and Slim and Six. And I like watched some of the videos and I was like, all right, I'm down. Like, why not? So I bought one of the DVDs, and I think I ended up doing Power 90 and Slim and Six in the office downstairs by myself, like in the room. And I started to notice some changes. And I'm like, wow, this stuff really works. And I went to my friend's wedding and I felt better and I lost a little bit of weight. But I didn't, again, have that support. So I just kind of fell back into my old habits, you know, ended up, you know, going through a hard time breaking up with my ex-boyfriend, and just, you know, was drinking a lot. And then I traveled, and it just, you know, health wasn't really on the forefront of my mind. And then I came home from traveling and got into really self-destructive behavior. At this point, I was like approaching 30, and I was like, I'm so sick of like dealing with my weight. And I was actually doing makeup at the time, and I was working on this one model, and a friend of hers came in, and they were like my students, and they were talking about how they were doing this new thing called, I think it's MediFast or MediZone, where they got these shots and they were losing all this weight. And I was like, what? I found my solution. So I like found the answer from them. And I literally, I don't think my husband even knows this, I would sneak off during the day to go to an appointment and tell him I had somewhere else to be and get these shots. And I followed the diet. You don't really eat a lot of food. I would be on the set for makeup, and I like remember feeling faint. And then we went to Europe. We went to London one time to do a recording for him, and like my stomach hurt so bad. I went out to dinner with a friend, and my stomach hurt so bad, and my heart was beating. And I was like, I'm killing myself. I'm like, this is not good. I'm like, no matter, like, I got down to like the lowest weight I'd ever been, and I'm like, I like felt like I looked awesome, but I felt like shit, and I felt really bad that I was like hiding this problem, this very self-destructive behavior from everyone. And I was like, I gotta stop. And I was just like, I can't do this anymore. So I stopped going. Not to mention it was super expensive. You know, it was like $100 a week for $400 a month. So like Shakeology is like a drop in the bucket, right?
You're like, let me give you a price objection.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and I did like wraps and, you know, so, but that was like sort of my low point of like, oh my God, I need a wake up call. And then, so then, you know, I got into calorie counting and I tried Weight Watchers, but nothing was working. I went back to trainers, and then, you know, we wanted to have a child, but wasn't really ready. And then I started doing Groupons because I was like, I hated going to the gym because I would just go and be like, I don't know what the hell I'm supposed to do. And I do the elliptical for like 45 minutes. Nothing was happening. I go to the weights. I'm like, I don't know what to do. How much weight should I do? Like, what workout should I do? I don't know. Like, what muscle groups? And it was just very overwhelming for me. And the trainers were good, but I just didn't like having to make conversation with people and deal with that crap. So I went to, so I started getting these Groupons, and I'd go to like Pilates and yoga, and I did all this, and I was eating like vegan and trying all these, like counting my calories, and I was just gaining weight. I was like, ate sugar all the time, gaining weight. And I was just like, I can't, this is like terrible. Then I got pregnant. So like I had all this weight stuff going on, and like simultaneously I was like, because of the self-confidence struggles, I was struggling with work. I struggled to get work. I, you know, was an art director and got really paid really well. And then I went traveling and came home and was sort of wayward and tried photography and makeup artistry and and hairstyling, and just couldn't really get my foot in the door with that. And then basically had to take like a slave labor position to get my foot back in the door with entertainment. I was working like 9 to 9 was like a good day. And I like, you know, all I got was lunch. I'd pack my lunch every day. I'd work out. It was like my sanity. And then, you know, I finally got pregnant, and, you know, I'd put on like 20-ish pounds up to this point because I just wasn't having any luck with my fitness. Was super stressed out about money because my husband lost his company. We weren't doing well. We literally would sit down at the table every week and be like, okay, how much money do we have? Like, where are we from zero? What can we spend money on? You know, what can we do? And we got to the point where it was like, we did nothing fun. We were newly married. We did absolutely nothing fun. The funnest thing we could do was watch Netflix. And there were even weeks where like, we should cancel the Netflix. Like it's $10. We could use that on something else. And so then, you know, wasn't getting any younger, was like, okay, if we're going to have a baby, we need to just get on this and do this. And then I got pregnant and, you know, I went in for a physical and I was like, hey, you know, while we're here, I took a pregnancy test. Can you just test me while I'm here and just confirm? So they did. So confirmed I was pregnant. So now it's like on medical record, I'm pregnant. The next day I got laid off at my job and I was just like sick to my stomach because I was like, holy shit. I just went on record that I am pregnant. So now like I have to pay for this insurance. I can't switch insurance. And then, you know, and my husband wasn't making any money and we were working on refinancing our house. So it was just like, what the hell? I'm pregnant. I'm trying to get a job in entertainment. No one's going to hire me. So it was like even more stress. And then the stuff with our house just like kept getting worse. And we ended up losing our house when I was pregnant. And like through all of this, I was just like trying to find a sense of comfort and control. And I was like, you know what? I really want to have a home birth. All of my life is chaos. I want to control this. I've done a lot of study about birth and the interventions, and I don't want that. So I, you know, thought my parents were like super liberal hippies. And then I told them I want to have a home birth, and they literally went apeshit and lost their shit. And it caused like World War III in our family, had major strife. Like my dad like verbally assaulted me many times, like went out of his way to like, you know, shower me with negative birth experiences. Like I had like, you know, some breakdowns about it, you know, thought I found steady work, then that fell through. Then my grandmother passed away. Then I found out that I had gestational diabetes, probably because I was eating all the sugar and so stressed out. So like I felt like a failure in my body that I had this diabetes. And then my water ended up breaking at 33 weeks. And then I went into the doctor and they're like, oh, your water broke. You need to go to the hospital and you're not going to leave till you have a baby. And I was like, are you effing kidding me? Like, what? I went into shock. And then my husband took me to the hospital and I literally like went into the hospital and I cried for like 3 days straight. And I was just like, how the fuck did I get myself into this situation? Like I had all of these dreams for my life and where I wanted it to go and none of it's happening. Like, how did I make this mess of my life? I just don't understand how I got here. And, you know, I kind of mourned the loss of the birth that I wanted. And, you know, luckily I was in talks with my job that I have now about getting hired on full time, and we'd found a house and we'd moved. So like things were starting to turn around, but I was like, this is a mess. Like, how did I get here? This is not the life that I want. I want to have time with my child. I don't want to stress out about money. We just lost our house. Like we're in shit right now. So, you know, and then I had her and, you know, then then I put on like 40 pounds when I was pregnant. And now I had the 20 pounds when I was stressed out and like having struggled with my weight plus the 40 pounds. And I'm like, am I just going to be a fat mom? Like, is this just my destiny? I've never been able to lose weight before. Like, what makes me think that I'm actually going to be able to lose weight now? So, you know, I had to pump. So I literally would sit up at like 2:00 in the morning watching Beachbody success stories on YouTube. I would watch them over and over and over again for like 2 weeks. And I was like, oh my God, if they can do it, I can do it. Okay, let's watch it again. If they can do it, I can do it. Oh my God, one more time. And I like obsessed on it for like 2 weeks. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. So I ordered Power 90. Didn't really remember that I'd done it before. And it arrived and like I had to negotiate with my husband. Like he's a runner and he's like, well, I'm going to run outside. And I was like, well, I can't go to my classes anymore because can't afford it. And we moved far away and I don't have time to go to the gym. I was like, I can do these DVDs next door if you're cool with just like watching Huxley for half hour or whatever. So we made this deal. And so I started doing the program. And when I ordered it, they're like, do you want a free coach? And I had spent thousands of dollars on trainers. So I was like, I'm down. So I'll get a free coach. So little did I know, like this angel appears in my life. And Jessie, you know, had a child and she helped me with modifications for being, you know, heavier and breastfeeding and just like feeling like an elephant trying to do these moves. I mean, it was just horrible. I was just like, I am like monolithic right now. It was horrible. And then I didn't buy Shakeology because when I went to order it, I went online and I was like, what the fuck is this shit? $130? I was like, are you kidding me? I'm like, there's no way. It's like a protein powder. I'm like, this must be gold in here because I'm not buying this. And then, I did the program and I was doing all right, but I wasn't really having like the kind of success that I wanted that I'd seen in the videos. And my coach was like, you might want to consider trying Shakeology. And I was like, what's it about? She's like, it's a dense superfood nutrition shake. It's not a protein shake. Just trust me. Like, just try it for 30 days. If you don't love it, send it back. She's like, it's going to be a game changer for you. And I was like, well, this woman's helped me. I trust her. I was like, I used to take diet pills and wraps and shots. I was like, what's stopping me from spending money on something that's actually going to be good for me? So I was like, screw it, I'll do it. And I never told anyone this, but honestly, I was like, I'm not spending $130. And I went on eBay and I bought a $99 bag of Shakeology. And I was like, I didn't know anything about it. So it arrived and I had it for a month and I was like, wow, this stuff's amazing. And then I was scrolling through the feed one day and my coach pops up and she's like, oh my God, we're going to Cancun. We're getting a free trip. And I was like, hold the phone. What? I was like, we haven't been on a vacation in forever. I want to go on a trip. And so I asked her about it and she told me about what coaching was all about. Honestly, I had no idea like what network marketing was about. All I knew was I wanted to go on this food trip and I would do whatever I had to do to go on this trip. Just tell me exactly what I'm going to do. I will execute it. It's fine. So she explained to me signing up as a coach, Shakeology, all that stuff. So I did, and I ordered P90X3 and I started drinking Shakeology. And I distinctly remember sitting on the couch like 2 weeks later and I was like, oh my God, I haven't had chocolate in 2 weeks. And not only have I not had chocolate, I haven't even thought about chocolate for 2 weeks. Like, that never happened before. We had a stash of fancy chocolate bars inside our house, and I would eat it every single day. So it's just like, this is a miracle. I'm like, all hail to the Shakeology gods. I'm like, I will drink this every day without fail. And, just started putting one foot in front of the other, and, I maybe lost like 5 pounds or something like that, but I started to feel better. And it was just really empowering to help other people and just to see that I was starting to make some money because we had no money. And, and that's like really where I got my start.
Awesome. Wow. Yeah. That is such a crazy story.
Yeah.
Like, wow. Okay. Next question.
Yeah.
Okay. What is the theme of your story? Have you been repressing your passion? Have you experienced lots of ill health and disease? Have you struggled physically, emotionally, and financially? Have your relationships failed? I feel like you kind of...
Yeah, I mean, I would say like, thank God, knock on wood, I haven't had any major health issues besides having diabetes. And that was like a huge wake-up call of like, this is horrible. I don't want to prick my finger every day. I don't want to have to like, obsessing over calories is one thing, but then when it's like about your health and the carbs and I was like, this, ugh, no thank you. I do not want this. I was like, whatever I got to do to not have diabetes. Because then I found out later that it's actually like deep up the line in my gene pool that it's like there. And I'm like, oh God, I don't want to deal with this. The theme, I would say more so like, I feel like I attract people that, on a challenger perspective, people that have a struggle with like eating healthy as a busy mom. But I'm starting to also attract people that have that money pain point like I have, that they just have this vision for their life that is doesn't feel attainable, that they don't believe it's possible. They don't have the hope that it's actually going to come to fruition. They live paycheck to paycheck. They're stressed out about money all the time and it just doesn't feel good. And, they want to do fun things and the stress that it puts on yourself, the stress that it puts on your relationship, on your marriage, and then just like the dynamics that it creates with your children. I mean, money stress is just, I think, so self-destructive. And I've been really working on my own issues with money. And so I know this is a question later on. Like, I really want to help empower women to create a successful business so that they have extra money. And whether it's they want to leave their job and, stay home with their kids, or whether they're just like, they're making a ton of money, but they're just still paycheck to paycheck. Like, life is so expensive and they can't get ahead of the 8 ball. They've got debt, they're underwater with their house, or they're just house poor. I mean, I know what it's like to be house poor, and that, like, honestly, that's the worst feeling ever. And it's just so draining. So, I think that's that's been huge for me is, and sort of similar to you, like I started definitely with like money on the mind. I was like, I want to get this trip. I want to make X amount of money. I was like, yeah, I'm going to help people. That's cool. And I didn't really understand like
The
really
helping
what it
people will be a side
means.
effect of my income.
Yeah, I didn't really understand that you actually have to come from a place of genuinely helping people and be like, all right, you don't want to buy Shakeology or you just want to join the group. Like, I literally like just want to help you. And if you stick around, great. And if you take a little bit away, that's awesome. But I know the pain that you experience. So if I can help you a little bit, alleviate that, that's awesome. And then the money just happens. Like it's not something that you can focus on. And that's been really challenging for me because I have a sensitive issue with money and that pain point, to not focus on that. That's been a huge growth and learning experience for me, to not use that as like the way in to helping people and like going about my business. So, so that's that question.
Yeah, I totally get that too, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. What are your identification factors? In other words, what challenges and breakthroughs do you want to help your leads and new team members focus on, overcome within themselves? And how can you use your problems or identification factors as a way to emotionally connect with new potential team members?
Well, I think like from a nutrition and fitness standpoint, you know, it's very easy to be all or nothing. Like I need to go to the gym and work out for an hour and a half, and I need to, you know, run for 7 miles and lift weights for 45 minutes. And you just, you know, it's like, if I'm not going to be perfect and do everything, then like, why bother? But just realizing that that's not really sustainable. You know, if you put in 20, 30, 40 minutes per day, 5, 6 times a week, you're going to have way better results. And it's going to give you an anchor to your life that is going to create a stability and a sense of confidence that you're not going to have otherwise. So to help people realize that, you know, to sort of surrender to that consistency, which is challenging because you're just like, I don't want to do it. Well, too bad. You got to do it anyway. Like there's days that I don't want to do it, and maybe I do 20% instead of 60 or 80 or 100, but you do it anyway. And you feel better with that sense of accomplishment and just like putting in the time and that energy. And then like financially, I've just seen what a difference it's made for my own self-confidence in my own life to be able to really invest in me. I mean, at this point in my business, I'm really putting all my money back in, you know, I work full time. So I'm putting all my money back into my business, to my team, to myself, because let's be honest, I have a lot of personal growth to do. I mean, I didn't get into that mess just by circumstance. Like I have a lot of stuff to work out. So, you know, to be able to, you know, like I go to all these conferences. I'm like a personal development junkie now. My Amazon queue is like this big with stuff. I listen to podcasts all day long. I'm in the car. If I'm driving alone, I'm like listening to a podcast or a team call. Like I'm constantly filling my brain with all of this positivity. And I think beyond that, over, you know, the working out, like that's like, if you don't change your mind, it's like none of the other stuff's really going to stick. You might have success for a minute, but if you don't change your mind, it's not in the way you think about things, it's not going to be a long-term change. So that's really huge for me. I forgot the rest of the question.
Oh, how can you use all this identification factors as a way to connect with new potential team members?
Well, I think, you know, like I've never heard, I mean, I'm sure there's people out there that have had bad circumstances, but I've never encountered anyone who had like such a domino effect of shitty things happen in such a compact period of time, especially when they're pregnant.
Right, I was going to say while being pregnant.
So to be able to like, not be like, oh my God, I'm the shit, like I did awesome, but be like, my life sucked balls. Like I could barely put one foot in front of the other. And like, I just had to put on a happy face and just get through it. And I didn't even have time to be depressed or feel sorry for myself. I just had to get through it and make sacrifices. Like if I want to change my life, I have to sacrifice. I don't really watch a lot of TV anymore. Unfortunately, my friendships are not as where I wish they'd be. Like I don't have time to talk to my friends on the phone. I don't have a lot of time to go out with my friends. Part of that's motherhood, part of that's business. You know, and then, you know, I don't have as much time with my husband, and sort of like what you were talking about, that's challenging, you know, to navigate, like, you know, you have this other entity that's taking your time and your energy, and to be in communication with your partner and have them on the same page and know that you're working towards this goal together to change your life. It takes a lot of work, and you can't give up on it. And to be able to really like dig down deep and be like, and know that like you could be working crazy hours and not making a lot of money right now. And there's days when you're like, screw this, like it's not working. But just know that you have the faith that like I'm building something, and money aside, like I'm creating this ripple effect in people's lives. And I have a sense of purpose and a sense of change and meaning to my life. I mean, I work in advertising, for God's sake. I mean, please, like it's great and it's a fun job, but it's just not soul food. So to have something that's enriching and like gives me a purpose and something to be excited about and push myself has been really invaluable to me as a person.
I love that, soul food. That's so great.
Yeah.
Okay. Why are you passionate about health and fitness? Was it always important to you, and why did you pick Beachbody? If this hasn't already been covered.
Yeah. I would say I didn't really know anything about health and fitness at all. I became passionate about health food. One, because I liked it. I noticed how I felt better when I ate better. I enjoy eating good produce. I went through a juicing phase for a long time, which I love, but I studied a lot about the benefits of juicing, but oddly, I feel a lot better from drinking Shakeology than drinking fresh juice. And it's like half the price and like 90% less time. So, that's really great. Fitness, hated it. Not only did I not enjoy it because I wasn't in shape, but I had all this like negative association with fitness because I was like the chubby kid in gym who got picked last. I was the slow kid. I was on the B team. I was like the slowest one running the mile. So to me, it was like anything fitness related. I was like, that's just shame and horrifying and self-humiliation, and I want nothing to do with it. But I knew that if I wanted to just be a healthy, fit person, I had to learn how to love it. So I just kind of decided that I had to learn it. Like getting trainers helps because they're there like telling you what to do. And then just trying a lot of different things. I found Beachbody, just like the DVDs, ages ago before they really became Beachbody, when they were like struggling, just like, people starting out with coaching. I think I did all the classes and those were fun, but I honestly really don't think I have like actually can physically say that I love fitness until I started to become a coach. And like, let's be honest, like maybe a year and a half into coaching when I was actually in good shape. Because in the beginning I was like, ooh, one push-up, ow, lunges, oh my God.
Yeah.
As I kept doing more challenges and I kept getting stronger and stronger and stronger, I was like, oh my God, like I'm starting to look in the mirror and I'm like, I have muscles. Like, is that me? Whoa, like I'm starting to get ab definition. What? Like this is, wow, oh my God, yay, like this is possible. So, to just keep at it and not just know that it's working and not stress out about it and not talk to yourself negative and be like, it's not working. No, don't do it. Just be like, no, it is working. Don't question it. Just do it.
Yeah. I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you feel like, so we've talked about your history with your dad as a filmmaker, having you making it hard for you to make videos. But do you feel like your history of getting picked on and made fun of for fitness makes it even doubly tough to do fitness videos?
Oh yeah. I feel super awkward and I'm like, why am I doing fitness videos? Like on the scale of expert, I'm like a 1. Like I do it, but I haven't studied it, and I'm really into like studying and being knowledgeable. But I actually made myself do a bunch of videos this weekend. I did a bunch of ab videos. So
good job.
I'm like, my theme is healthy, fit, fearless, because I am a big believer that if I'm afraid of something, then I sure as hell just better do it, because otherwise it's going to hold me back and it's going to torment me and it's going to keep me from moving on my life. So if I'm truly, genuinely afraid of something, that means that it's time to just do it, because then you get over that fear and you're like, wow, I did it. I feel awesome.
I'm still alive.
Yeah. Yay! And it doesn't hold you back and torment you anymore. So that's, I know if I'm afraid of something, I'm like, my next project is this.
That's awesome, though, that you can do that and face your fears in that way. Most people would be like, okay, see you later, not doing that.
Yeah. Not fun to not face your fears.
Okay. What is your why for becoming a Beachbody coach?
My why. This one's a challenging one. My why is that, when I was growing up, my parents weren't around. No one was there to help me with my homework. My parents never came to my functions. I was just kind of like left really to raise myself. And I don't want that for my daughter. I want to be present. I want to be up in her face and be like, what are you doing? Who are you hanging out with? Tell me what's going on. Like, I want to keep an eye on her. And like, luckily I was a good kid, but you got to keep an eye on your children and help them and raise them. And I never had dinner with my family. It's a real, like, right now we eat dinner, but it's like leftovers and just whatever can make the hunger go away. And like maybe once a week we'll cook dinner, but I want to be able to have it be like a ritual and be like, oh my God, we're going to cook dinner. Let's sit down. You cut the vegetables. Like, I want it to be like family togetherness. That's actually a really huge thing for me, is to be home for dinner, to be able to be present at my daughter's activities that my parents weren't there for me. And to have a flexible schedule. I love to travel. I traveled around the world for a year. I want to just take off and go live in Bora Bora. I want to take off and go live in New Zealand. I figured out how to make it work and live in these other countries. And I actually had a project I was working on. So I just know like what a transformative experience that was for me. And I didn't get to travel a lot as a kid. So I want to be able to give that to my daughter and have her understand, because like we grow up in LA or wherever we choose to raise her, first world, like, you're pretty spoiled, you take everything for granted. She's like, this graham cracker broke. I don't want to eat it. I was like, you can eat that graham cracker. Like, there's a kid starving somewhere. So I want her to see life from all perspectives and really understand how good she has it and just get such a deeper sense of what is out there and be really grateful for what she has. So, to have that freedom. And then really to spend time with my husband, like we actually were talking over the weekend that we really miss working together. And whether we work together through a coaching sensibility or start something else together, like to have that time and togetherness to dictate our own schedule, like I just like that. I want that so bad it hurts.
Mm-hmm. Totally get you on that one. Yeah. Okay. Describe the opportunities that being a Beachbody coach have produced in your life that you would have never had a chance to otherwise experience.
Well, definitely, coming from losing my job, losing our house, and living paycheck to paycheck, it's given me an income that, one, I can afford Shakeology, because honestly, like, I really think that at the end of the day, that is what has made me healthy physically and mentally about fitness and my food and health, because I'm full. I don't have cravings. I eat food when I'm hungry. Maybe sometimes I don't eat so good. Like, even if I'm bad sometimes, like it's that anchor that keeps me on task and keeps me moving forward. So to be able to have that, and like, I don't have to remember to take vitamins every day. I hate having to do that. And then I'm like, oh, I forgot to take my vitamins. I'm a terrible person. So I don't have that stress anymore, which is nice. And then being able to afford to go on all these trips, I've been to Summit a few times. We went to Cancun, we went to Jamaica, we went to Bob Marley's house. We got to take Huxley, got to go with my husband. We now have like some extra padding in the budget that we can like do some date nights from time to time. I've been able to buy clothes from time to time or be able to get stuff for Huxley, or if she wants to do an extra after school program, I can afford that. So it's really alleviated a lot of stress and pressure, like when you're just like living on the edge all the time, to be able to be like, wow, we're not like pimping it out on a yacht, wwhatever, that's fine. But to be able to like live my life and have, some breathing room and some fun. And, if I work really hard. So if I'm like, hey, mama needs a massage, like, sorry, I'm going to get a massage, watch the kid, I need a break. So to be able to do those things and not feel guilty about them and feel like, oh my God, if I get a massage, we're not going to eat food next week, it's huge, like, that's amazing. So it's been a huge gift for me. And I know how many other women struggle with just feeling okay with self-care, really. So I'm all for being an example for self-care. Like, let's lead the mission. Spa days, everybody. Like, treat yourself, buy stuff for your children, like, give back. Like, that's the other thing is, like, I've always struggled with giving back because I've always had this sense of lack with money. And that sort of not having that in my life, I think is just a negative trait personally in myself. So, friends hit me up and they're like, I'm doing a run or I'm doing this. And I'm like, oh, here's $20, here's $25. And like, I'm starting to work in tithing into my income, and like, that just feels good. And, I was actually talking to Nathan last night, and I was like, not to be a bad person, but I was like, I'm just not really the one to like get down and dirty and build an orphanage. It's just like not my scene. I'm like, I don't like to be dirty. But I was like, I do love art direction. I was like, I eat, like, breathe and sleep like branding and strategy. I love that stuff. And I was like, how cool would it be for me later when, if I'm not working in advertising, I still love that part of me to be able to work with nonprofits and not personally be the one to do the actual like execution of a logo or strategy or whatever, but like either do project based or create a company and just be able to like, pick someone to work with and be like, I have this vast network of incredibly talented people, and I'm going to use, career expertise to help you create a brand identity for your business so that you can go out and help people. So I can help people on the ground level physically and emotionally and financially creating a coaching business, but I can also use my skill set of, what I've studied and what I love to do and what I'm really good at, and use that to like spread that out in the ways that I'm good at and what I love to do.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. I love that idea. Super cool. Okay. Describe your ideal team member.
My ideal team member. Definitely someone who's a killer, like a go-getter, a warrior, someone who is just like, I will do whatever it takes to get it done. If I have to like sacrifice sleep, if I have to, not have lunch breaks anymore, like whatever I need to do to make it happen, I will do. Someone who's resourceful, who's going to figure it out by themselves. Someone who's coachable. So I've had people where I offer them suggestions and they're like, what? I'm not doing that. And I'm like, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm guiding you down like the correct path that someone has done for me. And if you don't listen, like it's not really, a relationship is not going to work. So someone who's coachable, someone who's self-motivated. And I think I've been thinking about this a lot. I really feel like someone who's hungry, someone who is probably in the shit from some aspect, maybe it's a health thing, maybe it's financial, some combination of the two, but someone who's like up against the wall and they're like, I have to make this work. Like, I will do whatever it takes. Cause that's like, I think back and like, that's really what I came to coaching as. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I mess up every day, but I'm just going to keep doing it and I'm going to get better at it. I'm going to learn. I was like, I'm not gifted in this area at all. I had to learn how to coach people. I had to learn how to really learn how to ask questions and care and like genuinely care, not just be like, oh, cool. Like, what'd you eat for dinner? Great. But be like, what's going on in your life? Like, are you okay? You've got stuff going on in your marriage. Like, let's talk about that. Cause that's like, yeah, you should be eating vegetables, but like that's really affecting your mindset and your spirit and like really getting to a deeper level with people.
Mm-hmm. Nice. All right. I'm just going to keep moving through. How much more time do you have?
I probably have to get off in like 10 minutes.
Okay. How do you feel equipped to help new team members reach their goals?
I've done a lot of studying on goal setting. And also done a lot of personal growth on not overwhelming people and making things simple for people, doing my best to just be like, okay, this is what you need to focus on right now. Do this, report back, and then I'll give you the next step. And that's been very hard for me because I'm like, here is everything you need to know. Now get to work. And it's like, that's hard to process. So, and I think, really walking beside someone and just being like, digging in deep and being like, why do you want to do that? What's going on? How does that make you feel? Like really like like I joke with my husband, I'm like, I kind of like stick a hot poker on their pain point because I really want them to be in touch with what's going on, because until they get, like Tony Robbins says, until you get really disturbed, you're not going to take action. So I think myself learning how to attack my own pain point and get down with my own poker and like translate that to other people. Like I don't do it maliciously. I do it really to be like, I want you, like I don't know how else to activate you without you really being in touch with why you want this so bad.
Well, that's what he was talking a lot about in my training that I'm doing too. He's like, you got to stir that pain up. You got to disturb them. You got to make them feel it. I'm like, oh, that's scary.
Yeah.
I don't want it. Okay. What is the defining factor for why people should work with you over other Beachbody coaches?
What is the defining factor for me? Well, I mean, one, I have an extensive experience with branding and strategy and all that stuff, and I love it. So helping people find their voice and learn how to kind of simplify it for what their needs are, it's something that I can help them with, and guide them in branding, definitely. You know, I love it. I'm consistent. I'm not like, I am a Beachbody coach now, and I'm not like, oh yeah, like I'm going to quit like December or whatever. Like, I need this for my own life. And if I stop doing these challenges and I stop drinking Shakeology, and if I don't follow the nutrition plan, like it's like all hell's going to break loose in my life. So I need this consistency for myself. So I'm just like leading the train. I'm like, what up, party? We're doing the next challenge group, T25. Like, come on, let's do this. So I live it, and it's my life. And I'm like, I want people to come and join me and help them and believe in them. And through learning how to believe in myself, I want to help other people believe in themselves and provide them with hope and give them the tools and resources. And, I'm not an expert at everything, but I study a lot, and I can point them in the right direction and be like, go study this, or go work with this person, or go to this event, and kind of hold people accountable to reach their goals. So.
Mm-hmm. Right. What obstacles did you have to overcome?
Definitely financial obstacles, but honestly, I really think that the biggest obstacle that I've had to overcome is my own mindset. I really struggle with belief. I never grew up with any sort of religious foundation. So understanding how to pray and believe and have faith, like I have sort of an intrinsic notion of that, but not anything that has any sort of structure or substance that I'm like, oh yeah, that totally makes sense. So I am very intuitive. So I haven't had that. So to really dig down deep and realize that like I have these negative beliefs, I have these negative patterns, I need to change them within myself. And, I need to be a better person. Like if I see trash on the street, I need to pick it up and not pretend like somebody else is going to get it. I need to, if somebody needs to reach out and they need help and they're like, taking time out to run like a breast cancer walk, like I want to support you. I might not have time to go do the walk myself, but I want to support you. And just really looking into the world of like, how can I add to the world in a positive way, as opposed to just like be selfish and not really can take other people and my impact on others into consideration.
Mm-hmm. What were the most difficult things you faced? You kind of covered that with all your whole story.
Yeah. I mean, I think, really getting through all the shit in my pregnancy.
Yeah.
And coming out the other side and turning it around, because I easily could have been like, wow, I lost my house. I'm like, we have no money. My life is terrible. And I give up. And instead I was like, hell to the no. This is not how I want it. I'm doing everything in my power. Like I've hit rock bottom and I need to go. The only person that's going to make this happen for me is me. And I have the responsibility, and I can't hang that on anyone else to take care of it for me. Mm-hmm. So it really like made me own up and empower myself to create the change that I want in my life.
Mm-hmm. Sorry. When was the first moment someone gave you a compliment or acknowledged your transformation?
I don't remember exactly when it was, but I remember when people started to notice, like in the beginning, oh, like you look good. But now, like I look like a totally different person, like physically and just spiritually, just how I like share myself and who I am inside. And, like I remember when I went over to this woman, she used to give me massages back when I was heavier and just going through a really rough time. And she opened the door and she was like, what is this thing that you've been doing again? She's like, you look amazing. She's like, tell me everything. I have to do this. And I was like, wow, I've mentioned this to you a few times and you totally ignored me, but you see that it works. And I've actually, like, I was one of those people that I was like, I don't want to invite my friends and family. Like, I'm not into it. And so I didn't really, I invited a few, but I didn't really reach out. But now they're coming to me and they're like, what are you doing? Like, I want to do what you're doing. I want to keep doing your challenge groups. I want to try Shakeology because I just, I just weathered the storm and I keep going. And they're like, you look amazing. And I'm just like, wow, thanks. Like, and there was kind of a transition period where I didn't really recognize myself in the mirror. And now I feel like I'm starting to just be this person. So I'm like, wow, my small clothes are too big. This is awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Okay. What accomplishments have given you a sigh of major relief?
I think starting to find coaches that I really resonate with that are my people, because like when you first start out, you're like, oh yeah, you're the mailman. You should totally join my team. Oh my God. Like you're the dentist. You should totally join my team. You like talk to everybody. And that's kind of what they encourage. But, it's ultimately, if you don't resonate and you don't have something connect with someone, it's like dating. Like if you go out on a date with someone, you're like, oh, that's cool. I don't really want a second date. But when you meet that like fitness coaching soulmate, you're like, we are in this together. Let's lock arms. Let's do this. Let's mastermind. So I feel like I finally started to hit on that. And I'm like, oh, whoa, this is what everybody talks about. What am I doing? Let's reverse engineer and keep doing this. So to really find my people and my tribe feels good, and it gives me even more motivation to keep going.
Awesome. Yeah, I totally agree with that one. It's hard being people on your team. You're like, I really don't get you, but you're still here. So
I'll do my best to help you.
But let's do this, but I really don't resonate with you.
Yeah. So probably this is the last question, then I got to jump off.
Okay. How have you defied, God, I cannot read today. Swear? This reset is like making my brain slow down. I'm like, okay. It's because I couldn't have my energize.
Oh God, don't tell me that. I'm going to die.
I know.
I can't exist without energize.
This morning, my husband and I were trying to get everybody ready for the day, and I was like, but like I was just like walking around, like I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I didn't have my energize. All right. Now I feel how people used to feel about E&E when they were like, yeah, and I made fun of them, and now I'm addicted. Okay. How have you defied your own or other people's expectations?
Well, I think just my own in terms of being strong. Like I'm a fit person now, and so I did, I don't know, almost 100 push-ups this morning on my feet. What? Like
seriously?
Yeah. And to be like, I always define myself as like, I can't do it. You're the fat kid, or you're not coordinated. So I always had these like stories that I told myself about my inability to achieve fitness wise. And now I'm so much stronger, and I've done all these challenges, and I keep doing it. And I'm like, no, I can't do it. Like, do heavier weights, do one more rep. And so that's been really empowering to me to kind of let go of those stories that I tell myself and how I define myself. Financially, it's been really amazing to not be so stressed out. Like I'm a totally different person because money is such a sensitive subject and such a pain point for me that it would just send me into this like spiraling tizzy of stress. And I would take it out on everyone around me and my husband and like myself. And it was just like guilt, shame, stress, choo-choo. And it's just like this like machine would just go on in my head. And now I'm just like, oh, whatever. Like we went out to dinner for our anniversary the other day. I was like, I normally would make an order based on how much something costs. And I was like, don't even think about it. Just enjoy yourself. Order what you want. If it's $3 more than the other dish, don't trip out about it. And like to just take price tags off of everything in my life has been really freeing and just empowering. And it's just, I feel like it opens up a part of myself and my headspace that I didn't know was there to be like, wow, I'm capable of so much more than stressing out about money all the time.
Yes. That's awesome. Yeah. I love that. Take the price tag off of life. You had some really good, like.
I know. I'm like, we got to get this transcribed ASAP.
I know. You're awesome here. That's so cool. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Those are all the questions.
So yeah, so I think, I got to jump off and head back to work, but if you want to
Okay.
save that and upload it to YouTube,